So joining us right now is Mr. Manish Tewari, Lok Sabha MP of the Congress Party from the state of Punjab. Mr. Tewari, thank you so much. Now, the point is that you know how this BSF and the mandate that they've been given from 15, it has been raised to 50 kilometers, is playing out. So you've got obviously the Congress Party's official position that this is not right, this is incorrect. Mamata Banerjee's party is also up in arms. But as far as the Punjab unit of the Congress is concerned, there are so many differing voices. You've got a Captain Amrinder Singh praising this move. Then you've got a Mr. Channi opposing this move. And then you have Mr. Sunil Jhakar who's saying, be careful what you ask for, Mr. Channi. You unwittingly managed to hand over half of Punjab to the central government.
Well, Sanket, thank you very much for having me on your show. Before we get into the politics of it, I think it is important to look at the legality of that. The government has issued this notification under Section 139 of the Border Security Force Act. Now, if you were to take Section 139 in your purview, the important phrase is that whatever powers have to be given to the BSF has to be given in areas adjoining the borders of India. So the moot phrase is adjoining the borders of India. Now, under those circumstances, in a small state like Punjab, it is debatable whether 50 kilometers actually constitutes adjoining the borders of India. Because if you were to stand at the Wagah-Atari border and go 50 kilometers, you would cross Amritsar very easily and also take a large number of other towns and villages in Punjab under your sweep. So therefore, the first thing which needs to be taken into consideration is whether the notification is in conflict with the wording of the section itself, which says adjoining the borders of India. The second thing which needs to be taken into consideration is whether this notification issued under Section 139(1) is in conflict with Entry 1 and Entry 2 of List 2, which is the state list in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. Entry 1 says public order and Entry 2 says police will be a state subject. So therefore, under those circumstances, if you read the mandate of Section 139(1) in conjunction with the Entry 1 and 2 of the state list 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution under the relevant article in which it falls, it is very obvious and it's very clear that this notification prima facie seems to be per se illegal, and therefore I doubt whether it would stand the test of law if challenged by the concerned state governments through an original suit in the relevant court, which is the Supreme Court. So I think the legality itself of this notification is fairly dubious, and therefore Government of India would be well advised to withdraw it.
Okay. I'm going to come back to this point on legality and what the Congress Party will or will not do. But now let's quickly come back to the politics. And, you know, before Mr. Tewari, one can point fingers at what the, other political parties are saying, or in this case, what the centre is saying. Here is a situation where the position of the Congress itself is not clear. I draw your attention to Mr. Jhakar's comment, who seems to be taking on the Chief Minister, Mr. Channi, that this could be a consequence of his meeting with Amit Shah.
Well, Sanket, when it comes to matters pertaining to the Constitution of India and matters pertaining to the constitutionality of the actions of the central government, my approach goes beyond the mere politics or the politicking of it. I look at it from purely a legal point of view, a legal perspective, a pure look at the legality of what the notification stands for. And in my estimation and in my opinion, this notification does not either stand the test of the mandate of Section 139(1) of the BSF Act, and certainly is in conflict with entry 1 and entry 2 of the state list, because it purports to create a parallel policing paradigm, at least in the state of Punjab, because when you talk about 50 kilometers as the crow flies from the borders of India, which is the international border, and therefore it ends up encompassing almost half the state.
But Mr. Tewari, would this be your advice to, say, a very learned Captain Amrinder Singh as well? Because he seems to have come out in support of this decision.
Well, as I said, I am not getting into the politics of it at all. Captain Amrinder Singh has a certain point of view. He has a certain hard position when it comes to questions of national security. And I think he's entitled to his point of view. But insofar as I am concerned, I do not think that this particular notification of the government stands the test of law. And I would strongly recommend to both the state governments of Punjab and West Bengal that this notification is a fit case to be challenged in an original suit under Article 131 of the Constitution of India in the Supreme Court.
Okay, so you're saying that this should be challenged in the Supreme Court by the relevant states. Now, Mr. Tewari, I also happened to speak to a few chiefs of the BSF, former chiefs or heads or DGs of the Border Security Force, and they said that, you know, in the old times, 15 kilometers was fine. There would be a hot pursuit. In 15 kilometers, you'd be able to cover. But as things are changing, now you've got drone attacks. You've got people who will not, the police or the BSF will not be able to catch up in 15 kilometers. That's why you need a larger area and be in sync with the times that we are in. How would you respond to this?
Well, being in sync with the times does not mean flouting the Constitution of India. It does not mean flouting the relevant statutes under which the Border Security Force stands constituted. If you take the Border Security Act 1968 within your purview, it is very clear that its remit is to ensure the safety, security, stability and tranquility of the borders of India. Now, if there is certain activity which stretches into the hinterland, you have the state police. The state police has extremely specialized units within their control and command. And let's not forget that the Punjab police had acquitted itself very honorably in the fight against terror between 1980 and 1995. And so therefore, if I was to look at it from a purely security standpoint, this notification also stands undermining the Punjab police, or the West Bengal police, if the West Bengal government has a similar point of view, for the simple reason that it is in conflict with the constitutional mandate which has been given to police forces in terms of, as I earlier said, entry 1 and entry 2 of the state list.
All right. Mr. Manish Tewari, thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you.